Hello there. Wow. Perfect. Wonderful. Well done.
Okay.
What's up, everybody? The Nintendo Beast here, jumping into some Splatoon 3 for a real quick online multiplayer commentary video. Did a couple of these with Mario Strikers Battle League. You guys loved them, so I figured, why not do it with Splatoon 3 as well? So I was loading in here, but I did want to get this special Splatfest, the Splatfest Splatcast. Splatfest is this weekend. I'll be doing a live stream this Saturday, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yeah, I said Saturday already. So this Saturday, starting at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be there or be lame. So what's the theme? That's what we're going to talk about. That's why I waited here on this screen, because we're going to talk about the theme of this weekend's Splatfest here in this video today. And I'm going to tell you which team to join. Absolutely. Like, no questions asked. So here's the deal. Let's see. Chill, I'm getting ready to announce it, blah, 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 too much dialogue, okay, we get it, blah, blah, blah. Here it is. Which of these is real? Nessie, aliens, or Bigfoot? Okay? So, in previous Splatfest, I think the last one was chocolates, right? Dark chocolate, milk chocolate, and white chocolate. Those were the three teams of the last Splatfest, and I could care less about any of those, okay? All three of those, I'm allergic to all chocolate. Fun fact about me, if you didn't already know. I'm allergic to all chocolate, therefore, I could care less. I ended up choosing Team Dark Chocolate. We ended up losing quite dramatically. It wasn't dramatic. I think White Chocolate was winning at halftime and they ended up winning the whole thing, I think. It wasn't dramatic at all. It wasn't a come from behind victory. It was nothing. It was just White Chocolate won. But anyway, so this time around we got Nessie, aliens, and Bigfoot. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. This is probably the most exciting Splatfest for me ever. Because I'm a nerd, and growing up, I was very much into cryptozoology, which includes, for anybody who's not familiar with nerdy things like me, cryptozoology is the study of hidden animals, or unknown animals, right? So Nessie, aliens to a lesser extent, but still aliens, and Bigfoot all fall under the category of cryptozoology. Whether they're real or not is still unknown, which is obviously the whole play on this Splatfest this weekend. So, we're gonna jump into some gameplay here as soon as I can get through all this. I don't care about any of this nonsense. I wish I could skip this, but I'm just gonna spam the A button to get through it all. Alright, so we're loading into some matchmaking for real this time. So anyway, now that we're past all that intro, it was a long intro. It's battle time. So let's talk about this. Splatfest, Nessie, Bigfoot, aliens. Which team is the team to join? So let's just assess this as we play here. So let's start with Nessie. What is the likeliness that Nessie is real? Or, so it's a very complicated question. Is it real? Because Nessie is believed to be a plesiosaur, right? And with that in mind, we do know for a fact that plesiosaurs were real during prehistoric times. So the question is Nessie real? Technically, the answer is flat out absolutely. Bigfoot is one that's less obvious, because in all of recorded history, theoretically, nobody has found, to my knowledge, real concrete evidence, unless we're going to look at, like, Neanderthals and things like that. I'm not doing great. I'm not doing great to start this off. Unless we're looking at, like, Neanderthals and, like, you know, kind of like human-ape hybrids. Not human-ape hybrids so much, but, like, pre-human evolution, you know? Oh, I was aiming at the wrong thing. Wow, embarrassing. But with that said, unless we're looking at that, Bigfoot is kind of an anomaly. We've never been able to concretely say that Bigfoot did, in fact, ever exist. Oh my god, I'm doing so terribly. Probably should have warmed up a couple times before having this conversation, but anyway. So Nessie wins that round in comparison between Nessie and Bigfoot, I would say. Because Nessie definitely 100% did exist at some point. Or what Nessie is believed to be existed at some point. Bigfoot, maybe. Maybe not. As far as aliens go, aliens are another thing that we do not have concrete evidence, again, as far as I'm aware, to suggest that they did that they did exist at any point. So I think Nessie wins on that note. Nessie wins on the fact that, just sheer fact alone, that technically, yes, plesiosaurs did exist in the past. Whether they still exist, that is the question, as far as the existence of Nessie in modern times. I feel like I did not help my team at all there, and then I ended up getting stomped. So that's what I would say the first round. Just like really logically assessing these options. I think Nessie wins on that way, or in that way, just because technically Nessie did at some point exist for sure. 100% certain, right? So if we get past that, then we look at the current situation, right? It's good to see that my whole team got stomped. It wasn't just me. But then we look at the prospect of them currently existing, right? And this is the unknown factor. We can't measure this by any kind of fact or anything like that. It's just, do they exist now? And all three of them, obviously, and that's what the question is really asking, right? Do they still exist as we know them in folklore, right? In legend. And that's where it gets kind of interesting. So aliens, I would say it's illogical to assume that they don't exist, right? The vastness, the infiniteness of space is immeasurable, and to assume that somewhere out there is not intelligent life, to assume these things is pretty ridiculous, I would say. I'm a firm believer that aliens do exist. I'm not a firm believer that we got flying saucers, soaring overhead, or that Area 51 is currently containing, Men in Black status aliens. I'm not saying that. But I am a firm believer that alien life has to exist. It just has to. It seems more illogical that it wouldn't than it would. Let me put this down and get back into this game here. Maybe perform a little bit better this time around. So that's where I stand on aliens. And so I would have to give aliens the leg up on that. Because as far as Bigfoot goes, Bigfoot and Nessie, really. Bigfoot and Nessie are, in my mind, they exist here and only here. Unless they are aliens, which is a whole nother can of worms that we're just not even going to get into. I don't know if anybody believes that these things are aliens, that Nessie or Bigfoot would be an alien. I don't know. I'm sure somebody somewhere believes something crazy. But with that said, aliens, I firmly believe, have to exist in some capacity. Maybe not, again, not the big round heads and big black eye, dead shark eyes and whatever that we see in, like, modern movies and science fiction, novels, movies, TV, whatever, media. But they do definitely, I feel like they have to exist in some capacity. Now, Bigfoot and Nessie. While Nessie absolutely did exist in the past, nothing says that Nessie has to be out there now, right? There are sightings, and those sightings are how we've assessed and come to the conclusion that it was probably a plesiosaur, what people are describing, right? But there's nothing really saying that it actually does exist. There's about as much evidence that Nessie exists as there is that Bigfoot exists, I would say. However, I think Nessie has a bit of a leg up over Bigfoot, simply because while yes, in rainforests and stuff like that, scientists are indeed constantly discovering new species of animals and what have you, right? Bigfoot is something that is consistently... Bigfoot is something that is consistently in areas that are not necessarily residential areas, but they're in, like, mountainscapes that are very heavily hiked and very heavily camped on and stuff like that. Like, that's how there are sightings, because somebody was camping or hunting or whatever, and they were like, oh, what is that big bear-looking, gorilla-looking, humanoid-looking thing? Bigfoot, right? Nessie, on the other hand, again, is technically in Loch Ness, which is how it got its name, in Scotland. And I'm sure Loch Ness, I don't know fully how explored Loch Ness is or how deep Loch Ness is, and some people claim that it is deep enough to house a hidden creature deep beneath the water's surface, and that's the theory. And it does also connect to the ocean, I believe. I believe by definition that's what a loch is. I think it does connect to the ocean in some capacity. So therefore, Nessie could escape into the ocean, deep down, and maybe the plesiosaur current breeding ground is somewhere deep beneath the ocean. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense if you think about it like that, but you know, it could be. There's so much of the ocean that is unexplored. That's a thing that kind of leans me towards Nessie over Bigfoot, because there is so much of the ocean that is still unexplored as opposed to land, which is significantly lesser. But yeah, so in that realm, I'm kind of leaning Nessie over Bigfoot. However, aliens, I would say, absolutely could exist, right? Absolutely probably exist, I would say, in modern times. Just not necessarily on this planet. So, with that said, it boils down to my third and final point, which is just kind of the unknown, right? So first was, did they exist? Nessie won that. Do they currently exist? Aliens, I'm going to give the win to the aliens, right? Last is just the unknown, the X factor, right? I think when it comes to the X factor, and I don't really know how to define the X factor. It just is. It's just something, you know? And with that said, here's the way I look at it, right? Nessie is super cool. Definitely did exist. Could potentially still exist. Could. Bigfoot, there's no guarantee that it ever existed. And despite there being sightings, again, it may have never existed. And it may still not exist. There's just as much likeliness that it did exist, that it didn't exist, and doesn't exist, to does exist, if that makes sense. The ratio of possibility is just dead even on Bigfoot. Nessie leans towards that it does exist, based on the fact that it previously did exist, right? Could still exist. We have alligators, we have sharks, we have lots of things that were technically modern dinosaurs, right? These are the things I'm looking at when I'm looking at the X factor and looking at, you know, the potential like that it could still exist. So Nessie beats Bigfoot in my mind on that note. But then it comes down to aliens. And aliens, in my mind, because they are otherworldly, that one really is the variable. That one really is kind of the wild card in this whole fight. So for me personally, it definitely comes down to either aliens or Nessie. And don't get me wrong, I love Bigfoot, and I really hope that Bigfoot does in fact exist, because that would just make me one of the happiest guys on planet Earth. And I think there's definitely still an argument for Bigfoot's existence. But when it comes down to this, just comparing these three, logic tells me it's between aliens and Nessie. So which one do I choose? Which one is the more logical option? And so, while I genuinely 100% believe that it's almost illogical to not, or to assume that aliens don't exist, again, giving it the infinite vastness of space, and so little of it that we've actually explored, I think it's ignorant to assume that we are alone in existence, period, right? I definitely believe that aliens are real. However, there is not concrete evidence that they 100% are real or ever have been real. So for that reason, I'm giving the win to Nessie. I will be joining Team Nessie for this weekend's Splatfest, and I think you should too, based on the reasons I just gave. Now, it's everybody's opinion, and you leave me your opinion in the comment section below, but for me, Team Nessie is the way to go. Nessie did 100%, for sure, in the form of a plesiosaur back in prehistoric times, did exist. That is more than I could say about Bigfoot. It's more than I could say about aliens. Excuse me. Getting a little bit heated about this. With that said, thank you so much for watching. I'm Team Nessie. I keep saying Team Plessy because it's a Nintendo character. Bonus points for Nessie was the inspiration for Plessy. So, let's talk about that as well. Now, we're not going to talk about Super Mario Galaxy and, you know, the fact that's kind of alien as well, Star Lunas. We're not going to talk about that. We're not going to talk about how Rosalina is probably an alien. We're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Plessy. Plessy and Nessie. And if you're a Nintendo fan, you better be picking Team Plessy. Sorry to blackmail you like that, but it is what it is. So Team Nessie for me. Let me know in the comments section below what your thoughts are, why you justify the team choice that you're going to be going with this weekend. And also make sure to tune in this weekend for my live stream. It'll be on Saturday starting at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You don't want to miss out. You don't want to miss out. It's WrestleMania weekend as well. But my stream will be perfectly snug between NXT Stand and Deliver, that pay-per-view event, followed by night one of WrestleMania. So all you wrestling fans out there, don't you worry. Don't you worry. I'm looking out for you as well as myself. I want to see it all. So my stream will be nice and snug between those two pay-per-view events. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. Like I said already, leave me a comment in the comment section below about what your choice for this weekend's Splatfest is going to be. Let me know what you think in general about cryptozoology. What's your favorite cryptid, right? Because Nessie also has a leg up for me because Nessie is one of my favorite cryptids. I do love Bigfoot, but Nessie goes hand in hand with the Yeti. I'm a big Yeti fan. I love the Yeti. There's also the Jersey Devil. There's the Chupacabra. There's the Mothman. So many fun cryptids that I would love to believe exist. And deep in my heart, I believe they exist because I want to believe they exist. And that's enough for me. It's fun. It's fun to believe in the unknown and to explore the unknown. So like I said, I'm very passionate about this particular Splatfest. It's very cool. But as a cryptozoology enthusiast, Nessie's the way to go. That's my bet. Anyway, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, the whole spiel. You know the drill. Do the things, share the videos, all that good stuff. Until next time, I am the Nintendo Beast. Thank you so much for watching.